Good morning. We'll call the meeting to order. And open forum is first. No emails, correct? And no visitors. So 2 and 3 are out. On to 4 on the agenda, which is the proposed new water contract. Tom.
So the city of Bentonville is our primary wholesale water supplier. They provide 70% of our water. The other 30% is Washington, Benton County, or 2-ton. And we had been in a 20-year agreement with them, and that is actually coming to a close at the end of this year. And they are proposing a new contract that would be for 10 years. Doug McCash and Charlie Holt have been working with the representatives from the city of Bentonville for over a year on this revised contract. It will include an increase in our fees. We feel reasonably certain that we will have to increase the fees for our customers, but they will be less than 10%. Keep in mind the city of Bentonville earlier this year, they had to, their customers had to absorb a 100% increase, so 10% is looking pretty good. The city of Bentonville has not yet voted upon this agreement, so that's why I'm not being 100%. It's going to be, this is the exact amount of the increase that we're going to go for our customers, because the agreement hasn't been approved on the other side yet. But we're pretty certain that it's going to be less than 10%. And so we're asking the board to approve the 10-year agreement with the city of Bentonville, which will ensure that we can continue to service our customers and our future customers over this next 10-year period.
Is that just a pass-through cost?
By and large, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
So no extra, no reduction, just a pass-through.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 100% easy based upon how the fees are charged to us and then how we charge our customers. It's not like a direct link, but to the best of our ability, it's by and large a pass-through.
Okay.
When is the city council supposed to vote on that?
I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. I was just curious. You know, it's hard for us to approve something that hasn't been approved on their end yet. That's what I was kind of driving at there.
Same question.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they could say the same thing. They could say how are we approving this, and Bella Vista hasn't approved it. So
I guess my question is, would we be saying, as long as these are the terms, that's what
Or
we're approving?
contingent
If,
upon
if they come
their-
back and change it, I don't know that we have a lot of options anyway, but
Yeah,
we
I
gotta
know
get
that-
our water from
I know
somewhere.
the city council, the Bentonville City Council is meeting this month to approve it. I just don't know exactly what date it is. Hopefully, we'll have it before next Thursday's meeting, but we'll update you then.
And I doubt there's gonna be any changes simply because, you know, their council has been working on it for a long
Yeah,
time,
we've been
so.
going back and forth several times on the details of the contract, so we feel like we're in a good spot where the city attorney is gonna recommend to the council to approve it.
In the unlikely occurrence that they didn't approve it or they changed it, then we would probably have to pull back and then reevaluate those changes and then take another vote, something like that.
So remind me when this would be effective?
It would kick in on January 1st.
Just a comment, I think I remember a conversation that we tried to go longer than 10, but this was the max that they would agree to.
Anything else? Forgot to mention that Director Deborah and Director Kathleen and Bob are not present today. Next, Tom, Rules and Regulations Committee, first reading of 2.
So, we've been talking about this for a couple of months. This actually was routed, the lake violations changes were actually routed through the Lakes Committee first. For those who would like to do some research, you can actually go to not the most current, not the October Lakes Committee, but if you go to the previous month's Lakes Committee, and also to the Rules and Regulations Committee, which occurred last week, you can actually get a broader picture of all the dialogue that took place on this. So this is policy 1.04. We're proposing these changes, and I have it on the screen. Let's see. And these are the changes here. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because we went into a tremendous amount of detail at rules and regs. But it's what this is doing is it's establishing the Lakes Violation Committee, and how the committee is made up, and how people can appeal voting violations and how much time they have to plead their case and so forth. So it's pretty straightforward. And what's most important is it gives the property owner that disagrees, maybe they don't agree with the violation that the lake ranger gave them, it gives them the ability to appeal to a higher authority, which would be the Lakes Violation Committee. Okay. Also part of this are modifications to policy 3.03. And this is talking about enforcement, and how the association, the POA, has the authority to impose these fees, and if the member does not pay the boat violation fee within 90 days, the member will no longer be considered a member in good standing, will be prohibited from using association amenities, receiving additional guest passes, and renewing their annual boat registration. So this does carry some weight in that, in addition to the fine, that if you don't pay within 90 days, then if you're a fisherman but also a golfer, you're not going to be able to play golf. Okay.
I will just point out quickly that this is similar to a fee that we charge for other things like membership transfer fee, and if you're late on that, you would be considered not a member in good standing. So the consequences are the same for other fees that we charge.
Also part of this change is the boating regulations. And so this is what is actually physically handed out to every single person that registers a vessel. And part of the reason why we're moving forward on this with pace is because we want to make sure this is in place before people start registering their boat for the coming year. And it clearly lines out level 1 violations, level 2 violations, level 3 violations, which are much more severe. And it restates, it's actually the exact same language. Why reinvent the wheel? Just copy from one document to another. It stipulates that if you don't pay within the 9 days, you're not in good standing. So all 3 of these documents come together to give the lake rangers the ability to go out and fine offenders on the lake. Any questions? Okay.
I guess this is kind of nitpicky, but if there is a violation and it's not listed, then they won't be fined. Is that correct? If they do something that's not listed here, it's not a potential to be fined.
Maybe we need to add a catch-all.
I'm just like looking here, you know, one of the things is you need to have a flag if you've got a skier, and if you're driving by yourself in a mirror, that kind of
You
thing.
might be able
There-
to,
There is level 2,
But that's-
reckless and unsafe boating, which
Maybe
that
it's got what
would
I'll
be.
do
that's a
there.
catch-all.
Maybe so.
I think that would
Okay,
be
maybe so.
sufficient.
Or not limited to somehow or another.
What do you think, Doug? Do you think we should add an other?
I mean, the list could be endless.
Yeah.
Well,
Things I've
yeah,
seen on the
yeah.
lake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not gonna be able to
Right.
think of everything,
Right.
so
You could
think
have
you're
a
not
broad, any other action that would be unsafe.
yeah, I think the unsafe boating probably covers it.
Okay.
Gives
Yeah,
us
it
enough
probably does. I
coverage.
didn't think about that.
Okay.
It's kind of like failure to yield on a ticket.
Careless or hazardous driving.
Yeah. Jeff
Well,
would
I mean,
know.
we can always amend.
This is true. Yeah, we're implementing this for the first time. We're gonna learn a lot in this first year. We're probably gonna make some changes. Okay, we'll move this forward. The next one is completely unrelated to the boat violations, and it is, hold on, I'm trying to track it down myself.
Information available.
Yeah, policy 1.01. There it is. And so we had an individual, oh, Jessica, you didn't update this. This is actually, we struck through this on the one that is in your board packet. This was, Sandy, you caught that this error last meeting. So we had a property owner that was asking for very detailed information on an employee, and we realized, so 9 was what was originally in there, and so we modified 8, or added 8, and this replaces 9. So employment information, including social security numbers, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, wages, salary, performance reviews, disciplinary records, and other information of association staff members shall be confidential except in the instance of required municipal, state, or federal reporting, such as the 990 and the 990T, which we post to the association's website on an annual basis. And the last one is for the Charitable Giving Committee, which is 1.03.4. And you know, we had a little bit of a situation this year where we had 15 going back in time, the rules and regulations and the board made some changes to this policy at about this time last year. We implemented those changes in '25, and as a result, we had, the Charitable Giving Committee had 15 grant applications, but only 7 or 8 were approved. And we got a little bit of pushback on the ones that were rejected, and we realized that we needed to make some modifications to the existing policy. And one of them is an office, which is, you know, most places don't have offices anymore. They can work remotely and so forth. And in some cases, we also are recommending we strike nonprofit organizations either partially or wholly serving Northwest Arkansas, Benton County, or McDowell County do not qualify. For years, we've been giving grants to the Boys and Girls Club, which is technically the Boys and Girls Club of Benton County, but the funds are always earmarked to the Bella Vista location and have always stayed there. And so we realized that, you know, we needed to modify this to make sure that we were not violating our own rules. The other change is we added, and this is actually somewhat covered later on in the policy, but I wanted to make it as clear as possible. While an organization may meet all the above criteria, this does not guarantee the organization will be selected by the Charitable Giving Committee to receive a grant. Charitable Giving Committee has the discretion to approve or deny grant applications based upon their assessment of the merits of the applications received. So it gives them some flexibility where they may go, look, we'd rather give the funds this way than that way, and which is always a difficult thing to compare one charitable organization to another. That's really a challenging thing to do because typically both the organizations are doing a great job.
And don't they rank? I think their process for selection is individual ranking.
Yeah, so they actually, the way that they've been doing it, which I personally like, is the chair has asked each of them to go off on their own, and then on their own rank them in where, you know, what's most important, what's least important in their opinion, and what their recommended donation or grant is. And then he combines all those together to, so that way, you know, people aren't jockeying or campaigning for one organization or another. They're all doing it independently, and then they come together. So it's a really good way of doing it, and I think it's very fair. So those are the recommended changes to those policies. For all the policy changes, this would be the first of 2 required readings, except for the voting regulations. That would only require 1 vote of the board, and we'd like the board to do that because we want to get going on printing and everything. The last item on the agenda is we're slowly getting to the election season. Jessica's going to be putting out the board candidate packets the first portion of December. So we want to make sure that all of our election committee members are in good standing with their terms. And so Bob Ritchell and Margaret Colleen need to be renominated or reapproved by the board of directors. We have 1 additional member, which is Ann Dahlke. Her term is current and remains current, and they are looking for an additional 1 or 2 committee members. So you may see additional ones either by the board meeting next week, which is possible, but more likely it'll be at the December meeting. We want to get all this done I'm sorry, I said December, I meant November. We want to get all this done by November so that we're in perfect shape for the election season to begin starting in December.
Good.
And that's all I got for you.
That's it. That's the end. Anybody have anything else to discuss? No? All right. Meeting adjourned.